Yo 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 yo, what's going on? What's happening? How we doing? How we feeling? How we looking? How we looking, man? Hey man, a lot to get to today or tonight. Hey, took another L today to the Chargers. Quite frankly, it was a game I did not anticipate us losing, y'all. I didn't think we was gonna lose this game, but we lost it. Tough L that we took today, 17-13 at home. So we gotta come in here, we gotta talk about it, we gotta discuss it, we gotta figure out what went wrong, and we gotta figure out, can we fix it? Can we fix it, or we already on to next season? Y'all feel what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody in the chat. William Amy in here. He say he done with Kirk Cousins. Jada in here, let Kirk finish the season. Jada says no, let Kirk finish the season. Okay, I got you. Then cut a bench him next season. I dig it. Miss Lisa in here. How you doing, Lisa? What's going on? Hope you doing good tonight. Our dog Keon in here. Streets need you right now, Uncle. I'm listening. Let's get it. Hey, let's get it, bro. Let's get it, man. Let's straight get to it. Lisa say we done lost 3 straight. Unfortunately. Dog T Terry in the business. Say what's up, Tyler? What's going on, T Terry? We got our guy Rusty Moore in the business. Raheem is a mid head coach, and Kirk is a mid quarterback. And you might have to roll it up and smoke it with a Philly blunt back into the 90s. Coach in the building. What's going on, Coach? How we doing, my brother? David in the business says, what's up, Tyler? What a it show. Oh, was it epic? Epic it show, without a doubt. Coach said Kirk had problems today, but I bet no one talks about Zach doing 3 jet sweeps. Our offense has no pizzazz. We ain't heard that word in a while, pizzazz. No imagination, no trickery, and no to all the Michael Penix Jr. chats. Lisa says, Zach Robinson, y'all, these plays calls had me cussing this Sunday. Not you cussing, Lisa, not you. I just know you ain't in that cussing. Not my Lisa. Ray in the building. What's going on, Ray Ellison? Says T. Terry. Says, let Kirk be our quarterback. Jadison's trading Kirk is out the window after this performance. God dang. Oh, so you mean Kirk done dropped his own stock? We didn't need that. His arm has regressed in our eyes. He doesn't have a zip like he did in week 4. Unfortunately, you are absolutely right, bro. You are absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Man, like you were indicating, his draft stock dropped severely today in today's game. And in regards to playing him or putting Penix in, we gonna get into all that. We definitely gonna get into all that. Tyreek in the business is what's up, Tyler. We don't make the playoffs. Somebody ass is earned. I agree. I definitely agree. Keon said, "Cool got me messed up." Yeah, oh, man, come on, young way, cool. Keon, I remember I said in the Bird Game group last year, man, like it's about time to replace Cool. You know they told me up, bro. You know they told me up, but a year later, look where we at. And then in the preseason, man, he missed all them kicks, and I remember people saying, "Oh, it's just a preseason." It ain't just a preseason for a kicker. That's a kicker. You know, a kicker has a very singular job to do. He's kicking field goals. You know, they're just like if a golfer is practicing his golf game and he practicing and he can't hit them same putts that he used to hit, even in practice, they're like, hey, that's a different story. Way different story. T. Harrison Morris is a used car salesman. Where can I buy a used car at? Man, y'all know how much used cars that went up? Man, I remember like 5, 6, 7 years ago, you get you a nice used car, a real nice used car, 5, 6, 7 grand. Nah, shoot, a used car gonna cost you about a good one, 8, 9, 10 grand, man. This inflation is an MFer, bro. It's an MFer. But you know, we won't get into economics on this. I know y'all don't care nothing about that right now. Lisa, some of his pass were low, and they just kind of low out there, no zip on them or anything, right? Bad velocity, no zip, no confidence in watching him throw the football today. Keon said Falcons hate moving on. That's been our downfall before I was born. Yeah, true that. Mine too, and I'm way older than you. Jada says, Lisa, excuse me. Okay, you're talking to Lisa. My bad. Lisa says, how do we fix this? That's a great question. We're gonna try to talk through it and see if we can fix it, y'all. Before we really get into this game, y'all, I want to tell y'all a real quick story. I promise I'm not gonna bore you. But just follow me here. I y'all know when we have losses like this, I need y'all to be my therapist. You know what I mean? I need y'all to be my therapist. Y'all know how we get down. So I'm asking y'all to be my therapist just for a short period of time tonight while we go through this. So just follow me and, you know, engage with your boy, you know, because I need to sit on somebody's couch and talk to you. So I'm gonna talk to you for just a quick moment. But y'all, I remember when I was a little bitty kid. I'm talking about little bitty kid. I'm talking like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, like around that time, right? Around that time frame. Of course, that was way before the internet, you know, and computers and modern technology. That's when you sat in front of the TV and all that good stuff. But I remember like in 1985, you know, I'm telling some of y'all my age, but I remember like in 1985, I remember like watching a slam dunk contest, NBA slam dunk contest, right? 1985. And I remember Dominique Wilkins winning the slam dunk contest in 1985. And I remember him beating Michael Jordan in the slam dunk contest. And I was just so mesmerized by it because, you know, keep in mind, again, I'm a little bitty kid. I'm a little kid, short and all that stuff, just, you know, but I'm amazed by watching these players doing all this dunking. See, back in the 80s, like these dunks back then, they were new. We hadn't seen like the tomahawks and, you know, all that stuff, you know, all the stuff Michael Jordan was doing to kiss the rim and all that stuff. All that stuff was new to us. So needless to say, Dominique Wilkins defeated Michael Jordan in the slam dunk contest in 1985. Fast forward to 1986, Michael Jordan was injured, so he didn't participate. But I remember Spud Webb, he beat Dominique Wilkins in the slam dunk contest. And Spud Webb only like 5'7". You know what I mean? He beat Dominique, and that was real big news because, you know, you really hadn't seen like a guy that size, you know, dunk the basketball like he was dunking. You absolutely right, T Terry. You hadn't seen a guy like dunk the basketball like he was dunking. So just to see a little guy like Spud Webb dunking that basketball, and then he beat his teammate Dominique Wilkins, and they both played for the Atlanta Hawks. So it was a real big deal in Georgia. Like, y'all believe it or not, some of y'all young cats, y'all youngsters, I'm in my unk status. I'm officially an unk, but y'all who are still in your younger years of slam dunk contest used to be a real big deal, y'all. It used to be a big deal. But anyway, fast forward, and I'm gonna get to my point. Fast forward to what we at 85, 87. Michael Jordan back. He back. You know what I'm saying? He back. He back from injury. He want his revenge on Dominique. So, they're in the finals of the slam dunk contest. Now, they held the event this year in Chicago. Michael Jordan played for the Bulls. Really, Dominique Wilkins beat him again. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Dominique won it again, but being in Chicago, they gave Jordan a home cooking. So they stole one. They stole that one from Dominique. But the slam dunks, that contest always mesmerized me. And I could just remember once I got into like middle school, like 7th grade, I remember going to 7th grade. I was probably about, maybe it was like 5'7", 5'8", something like that, as far as my height. And one thing I wanted to do is, I wanted to work on being able to dunk the basketball. And at that point in 7th grade, I'm only like 5'7". But mind you, Spud Webb was like 5. I might have been 5'6". I'm not sure. 5'6", 5'7". But anyway, Spud Webb dunked the ball. He dunked the basketball at 5'7". You know what I'm saying? But he was an NBA player. He's a grown man. I'm only like 12, 13 years old. So, but one of my goals I set out at a young age, I wanted to dunk a basketball. And I really never expressed this desire to anybody but myself. None of my friends, really, my parents. It was just something that I really wanted to do. I wanted one day to be able to dunk a basketball like Spud Webb, like Dominique, like Michael Jordan. I was damn near, I ain't gonna say obsessed, but it was a burning passion that I wanted to achieve. I wanted to dunk a basketball. So needless to say, at like 5'6", 5'7", in middle school, I couldn't dunk. Now we move on to 8th grade. We leave in 7th grade, going to 8th grade. People starting to we started to hit our growth spurts at this time. And I never gonna forget, in 8th grade, first person I seen in my age group dunk a basketball was Kenny Jackson. I remember we was all sitting in the gym because we were about to do we were doing basketball tryouts. And before the coach walked in, Kenny grabbed the basketball. He was sitting on the bench. He grabbed the basketball, he dribbled, and he just went back and dunked it in 8th grade. And boy, we went crazy because that was like the first person that we seen in our age group who could dunk a basketball. And Kenny was not tall. Kenny Jackson was not tall. I'm name dropping. These are real people. And people who know me personally, y'all gonna know I'm not BSing. But he dunked the basketball, y'all. And Kenny, he might have been half an inch taller than me. We was about the same size. But he dunked the basketball, man. And he wasn't no big guy and nothing like that, but he was able to dunk. So that really drove me. It pushed me. I was like, oh man, Kenny dunking. I gotta be able to dunk. But I'm still like probably only 5'7" at the time, maybe 5'8" at this point. I wasn't able to dunk in 8th grade. So we moved to 9th grade, and now more guys are being able to dunk the basketball. And also at this point in time, as I said, we just started to hit our growth spurts. So some of the guys in 9th grade, they already like 6 foot, 6'1", some of them, you know what I mean? So they're naturally able to dunk. So but now that I'm in high school, I'm in 9th grade, I'm seeing more people dunk. I'm seeing the juniors in my school, the seniors in my school, they dunking. More people in my age group are starting to dunk. And I'm telling y'all, I'm trying my damnedest, man. I'm trying to dunk, trying to do everything I can to dunk, and I just couldn't do it. Now I could palm a basketball around this time. I got some real big fingers, big hands, and I was able to palm a basketball, which I thought would helped propel me to be able to dunk a basketball. So ninth grade, I'm still not able to dunk a basketball. Now let's go to 10th grade. More people are being able to dunk. Now, a lot more people that's my height. At this point in 10th grade, I'm probably maybe 5'9", maybe almost 5'10". Another guy I know, Antonio Williams, we called him Pookie. He exactly my height. Now at this point, he dunking a basketball. So now I'm really like, dang, I gotta figure this out. I gotta figure this out. You know what I'm saying? In 10th grade, I'm saying to myself, now when I get to 11th grade, I'll probably be a little taller and I gotta dunk a basketball. So I'm looking at Pookie and I'm looking at Kenny and I'm looking at they build up. Like, these are not no like big guys, you know what I mean? And I'm like looking at them like, man, like athletically, I look just as athletically. I look just as athletic as they do to the naked eye, but I still can't dunk. And these boys dunking, you know what I'm saying? What is up? So I made a point. The summer of my 10th grade year, I said, you know what? I'm about to get in this gym. You know, I was already playing football, so I was already working out, but I said to myself, you know what? I'm gonna make it my business to put in extra hours, and I'm gonna do a lot of lower body work. I'm gonna work on my legs, my thighs, and really my calves. I thought at this point, having strong calves was the key for me to dunk. So I put in a lot of work. Some of my 10th grade year to try to be able to dunk a basketball. I put in a bunch of work. And I'm talking about I can't now going back to 11th grade after 10th grade, going into 11th grade, boy, my calves, boy, they were busting. I'm talking about, boy, my calves had got cut up and everything. I'm like, yeah, this gonna be my year. And I probably done grew another inch, so I'm probably like 5'10" now. I'm getting up there. And then I remember at this point, there's another guy went to my school named Antoine Brooks. We call him Tat. This is his nickname, Tat. Tat short. Tat at that point probably about 5'7". And I'm watching Tat, and Tat almost being able to dunk a ball. And I'm way taller than Tat. And Tat ain't, none of these cats blow a body like mine. They ain't cut up like my body was cut up. You know, I'm all old now, so I'm not in shape like I used to be. I'm like, damn, like I done put in the work. Like, my calves cut up, man. My thighs cut up. Like, and Tat was a little bitty short cat, and he almost can dunk a basketball. I'm talking about Tat getting like that close, and I'm trying to dunk, and I'm not getting close at all, y'all. So I couldn't figure it out. Like, man, I done put in all this work. And let me tell you what else I did in my pursuit to dunk a basketball, right? I done went to my parents, and I done convinced them to buy me some low top basketball shoes. You know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking to myself, you know, my mind started playing tricks on me. I'm like, well, my shoes are probably too heavy. So I need some low tops basketball sneakers. And that way it'll be less weight. And then I can get up and I can dunk the ball. That didn't work. That didn't work at all. Wasn't able to dunk in my 11th grade year. And I had put in all that work. And y'all, I was so disappointed. But I didn't tell nobody. It was just my own personal burning desire that none of my friends know. But man, I wanted to dunk a ball so bad. But I'm getting to the end of the story. So we go to my 12th grade year. And at this point I'm like 5'10", you know, and I'm out there, I'm about at that age where like I ain't gonna really get much taller. You know what I'm saying? And you know, at this point, you got guys again, they 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", they dunking with no problem. You know, they doing circus dunks, and you know, other people that are my age and around my height, they're dunking. And I still can't dunk. You know, I still can't dunk. I gotta put in all the work. And let me tell y'all this. I'm about to finish the story up. Midway through my 12th grade year, can y'all take a guess on what happened? I'm looking at the chat. If you've been following this story, midway through my 12th grade year, can y'all just take a wild guess on what happened in my pursuit to dunk a basketball? Can anybody just take a wild guess in the chat? What do you think happened the midway point through my 12th grade year? And keep in mind, this is something that's been on my mind, something I've been working on since like 7th grade. So can anybody guess what happened midway through my 12th grade year? Lisa says you were able to dunk as a senior. What's going on, Wallace? Wallace said you was finally able to dunk. Anybody else got any other guesses of what happened in midway point through my senior year in high school in my pursuit to dunk a basketball? Slim Dollar said you got hurt. That's a good guess. Jada said you dunked. Ray Ellis said you tore something. I did, but that's not the story. Tyreek said you broke your leg. Raymond Collins says injury. Okay, I'm gonna stop playing charades. I came to the realization mentally that I'm just not gonna be able to dunk a basketball. No matter how much work I put in the gym with my lower body, no matter the fact that I can palm a ball, no matter what kind of shoes my parents buy me, and at this point I got a job. No matter how much money I save and what kind of shoes I buy, I came and the key word is realization. I mentally came to the realization like I'm just not gonna be able to dunk a basketball. You know, I'm not 6'2", I'm not 6'3" like some of the guys at my school. I'm not like Kenny and Pookie who can just dunk without even trying. I came to the realization that the guys who are by height or even shorter than me who could dunk, they just naturally had a vertical. They went in the gym putting in the work like I was to try to dunk. I'm not saying that they weren't working on their basketball game, but you could tell by looking at our lower body, like, I was putting in extra work, but they were just doing it at ease. It just came natural to them. So I finally came to the realization, like, look, I'm just not gonna be able to dunk. Right now I'm only 5'11". It ain't like I'm 6'1", 6'2", 6'3". I'm not the shortest or short, but I'm not 6'2" or 6'3". So at that point I was probably like 5'9.5", 5'10". At this point, I'm like, well, I don't have the height to be able to dunk with my normal vertical, and I just don't have that God-given vertical to dunk on my own without the height. So I came to the realization that, listen, I'm not going to be able to dunk. It ain't gonna happen, and that's perfectly okay. I was good with that. The reason I say that story, y'all, taking this to the Falcons. As fans, we're gonna have to come to the realization about our team. No matter how much love we have for them, no matter how much money we done put into tickets, into jerseys, how often they done stressed us out, we're going to have to come to the realization as fans that our team just not as good as we think they are. It's just like I came to the realization that I'm not gonna be able to dunk a basketball. I done put in all the work. So as fans, we got to come to realization like, look, this team probably just not as good as we thought they were gonna be. They're not as good as I thought they were gonna be. And that's something as fans we got to come to realization and to a certain extent accept that for what it is right now at this moment. Not saying that we can't continue to build this team and eventually build a very good team, build a great team, but as currently ensembled, no, we're just not a good team. We really just not a good team. Lisa said, "Oh wow, Ty, that was anticlimactic. I was room." Appreciate it, Lisa. Good looking out. Lisa says, "So are you setting us up to say we need to realize our 2025 season are not getting to the playoffs?" I'm not saying that. I think we still can make it to the playoffs, but what I'm really saying is we need to come to the realization that they're probably not as good as we would like them to be, or as we think they should be, or I think a lot of our expectations obviously are biased because we're Falcons fans, but we really not a real good football team at this time. The talent just really not there. No matter what fault we throw out there, who to blame, who we throw the blame to, who we point the finger at, it's just not a good team at this point. And that's okay. I'm not saying like don't go out there and root for the team, or I'm not saying we can't go on a roll and win our last 5 games and win 4 out of the last 5 games, but at a certain point, you watch your team all year and you're like, okay, you know what? Good teams are not going to continue to lose games like this. Excuse me. Good teams are not going to continue to lose games like this. And don't get me wrong, it's any given Sunday in the NFL, so every now and then that Seattle game will happen. But we let the Seattle game happen. You let the New Orleans game happen. You let this game happen. You let the Denver game happen. That's damn near 25% of the season. So at a point in time, you got to come to the realization, like, look, my favorite team just ain't as good as I thought they were. A lot of us, we had them winning this amount of games or that amount of games. They're just not that good. That's perfectly okay. That's perfectly okay to come to that realization about your team. Now, am I saying if we get in the playoffs, we can't surprise some people? Possibly can. But playing how we played lately, losing the last 3 games that we lost in the fashion that we lost them, it's not likely. If the team could flip a switch, you think we flipped the switch by now. And I don't think we have beaten I don't think we beaten a winning team, a team with a winning record currently. And I remember when people were telling me that early in the year, I used to get agitated, and I'm not agitated about that no more, because I'm coming to the realization, like I came to the realization almost 30 years ago, that I'm not going to be able to dunk a basketball. The team just really not that good. They're not as good as we want them to be, and that's okay. That's perfectly okay. We're gonna get into Kirk Cousins, how he played today, but I'm gonna stay on this for a moment. I'm not gonna come tonight, and I'm not gonna keep y'all long. I come on the late night. The Johnny Carson, Arsenio Hall, David Letterman. So I won't keep y'all too long. But tonight I'm not gonna come, and I'm not gonna point any fingers at any coaches tonight. I'm gonna start there and say that. I'm not pointing any fingers at any coaches tonight. For those of you who have watched enough of the content on this channel, one saying or one mantra that I've said consistently throughout the year: players make plays. I actually probably need to get me a t-shirt made and just put that on there. Players make plays. So not gonna come on here and blame Jimmy Lake. Not gonna come on here and blame Zach Robinson. Not gonna come on here blame Raheem Morris. Because when I watched the game today, and I watched it a second time before I came on tonight, I watched it again. From my vantage point, what I saw, coaching is not the reason we lost that game today. Not at all. To be perfectly honest with you, to me, that was one of the better jobs of coaching on display by our staff tonight as a whole. Although we still lost the game. And I know some of you are probably thinking, well, boy, what did you smoke before you came on here tonight? We lost. I know we lost. But the coaching staff as a whole still, in my opinion, did a very, very good job. The coaching staff, in my opinion, they did enough to win. I go back to my favorite saying of 2024. Players make plays. There was not enough key players, or a key player didn't make enough plays tonight. And Jada said jet sweeps, though. I get it. I didn't like those calls neither. I get it. Bad calls. But one thing about coaching is just like coaches. Well, let's start here. Coaches are human, obviously. And I'm not being a jackass when I say that, but what I'm trying to say is If coaches are human, they're gonna make mistakes. Players are humans, they're gonna make mistakes. We see the players make mistakes all the time. You know, we see guys drop passes a lot. Unfortunately, we see Kirk Cousins throw interceptions, a lot. We see guys miss blocks. We see guys miss tackles. That's just part of the human element. So the 2 or 3 jet sweeps, those were not, obviously not the best calls to make. They did not work. But what about the other 40, 45, 50 offensive play calls? Are we going to hold Zach Robinson to just 3 play calls? Are we going to hold the deepest of coaches, just to 2 or 3 plays that didn't go the way that they thought they would? We lost to a team that did not score an offensive touchdown. A pick 6 and a few field goals. And we still lost the game. So I don't have a finger to point at any coaches. I'm not going to come on here and point any fingers at Raheem Morris. I feel like him and his staff did enough to win the game. Now, when the guy who touches the ball more than any other player on the field, your quarterback, when he throws 4 interceptions, no touchdowns, I'm going to point the finger more at a player or players than I am my coaches. And it's not really the fact that Kirk Cousins threw interceptions, because again, he's human too. He's going to make mistakes, It's the type of interceptions that he threw. Egregious interceptions. Like I said, I went back and I watched the game. The pick six was appalling, y'all. I'm using Clifford Harris vernacular. That pick 6, it was appalling. From the time the ball was snapped, on that pick 6, Kirk Cousins looked at Darnell Mooney from the time the ball was snapped. And that defender, I'm sorry, I apologize, I don't know his name. But the defender that got the pick 6, while Kirk was looking at Mooney, the defender was looking at Kirk. And I saw some people say, well, he baited Kirk Cousins. He didn't really do nothing special on defense. But watch Kirk Cousins' eyes. When I think of baited, I think of watching Deion Sanders, in the late 80s and the early 90s for the Falcons. I've seen Deion really bait guys. I mean, really bait guys. Where it looked like Deion beat. Looked like the receiver got 2 yards on Deion. When Deion that baited you, quarterback throw the ball, and Deion used that 4.2 speed, and he catch up, intercept the ball. To me, that's baiting. But when a defender just sitting there watching the quarterback, watch the receiver, and he just stepped right in front of the ball. I mean, it wasn't even a super athletic play either. He just stepped right in front of the guy because he's watching Kirk. Don't like egregious interceptions. I guess I'm gonna call it a pop fly. Y'all watching baseball sometimes? Any baseball fans in here? Y'all know sometimes when a batter will bunt the ball and the ball just boop, instead of it going to the infield, it'll boop, pop up, and it's an easy pop fly, an easy out. That's what that one interception looked like Kirk threw. It's like Kirk, what are you doing? What was that? What was that? And this is one of the most experienced persons on the entire field. Making the most money. And I'm not trying to say he don't he shouldn't make the money he make, because whatever they pay you is whatever you worth, in my opinion. You know, but there is going to be an expectation with that. You know, I see everybody talk about AJ Terrell's new expectation with his contract, his new contract. Well, Kirk will make way more than that. So he has expectation too. And those interceptions were just egregious. So I'm not going to blame a quarterback playing like absolutely crap, because Zach Robinson didn't throw these interceptions. I can't blame Zach if my quarterback is giving the ball up and he's a veteran and he knows better. Now, if this is Michael Penix Jr. in there as a rookie, I'll be maybe a little more lenient on him. And at that point, I'm thinking to myself, okay, y'all need to bring Penix out. He ain't ready yet. Just like last year around this time, I said, okay, you got to bring Ridder out. Ridder ain't ready yet. Kirk was looking like Ridder. I'm telling y'all, if I don't even really remember Ridder playing as bad as Kirk played today. And that's saying a lot. Maybe I'm forgetting the game because I done try to really block out the Ridder era in my brain. But I don't recall Ridder looking like these were some terrible interceptions thrown. I can't blame that on Zach Robinson. I can't blame Raheem Morris for that. And one thing about Raheem, one thing that I was looking for from this team today when I watched them play, I said, okay, we got a bye week. I'm going to see how this team responds. This is going to tell me a lot about Raheem Morris. Is he going to have this team ready to play, or will the Falcons lay yet another egg? Now, we lost, but I don't think the team laid an egg. I think a player laid an egg. There's a difference there. I don't think the team laid an egg. I think a certain player laid an egg. To me, the team came to play. The defense, everybody been so critical on the defense. To me, they came to play. I watched the defensive line intently today. Intently. It looked to me that the time off boded well for the older guys on the defense. I saw a little more pep in Grady Jarrett's step today. You know, he had a little more pizzazz about him. Like, man, I'm getting older now. I needed that break. You know, we've been at this for like 3 months and we just getting a bye week. So that week off looked like it helped re-energize Grady. I seen Grady out there. Hey, man, he was bouncing around, getting all blocks. I said, okay. Grady came to play today. I even seen David Onyemata. You know, he looked, had a little more pep in him. Big Eddie Goldman. You know, all the older guys. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that they played exceptionally well, but they played better than they have been playing lately. The mini vacation did them well. They needed time off. Another thing that I noticed is we had an infusion of young guys up front, had a lot more snaps than I can recall them having throughout the season. I seen Brandon Doyle in the trench and just moving. Yeah, Brandon Doyle is the rookie. He was in there just moving around, you know. That young man energy. I seen it. I seen Lorenzo Carter in there causing some havoc, y'all. I couldn't believe it. I said, look at Lorenzo. Look at Lorenzo Carter out there, you know, pushing the line back. He was pushing that line back. You know, I seen Harris out there. I seen him out there. I seen Kentavious Street was out there balling today, y'all. You know, the younger guys. To me, it looked like Jimmy Lake, Raheem Morris, one or the other, or maybe both, decided, hey man, the older guys, Grady, Amyamata, Eddie Goldman, Matthew Judon, they're having problems. Let's let the young guys play a little bit more to this game, and it worked. Arnold Abakady, they let him in. They told Matthew Judon, hey man, we still gonna limit your snaps. Let Abakady eat. Young Zach Harrison, I seen big boy Zach Harrison out there causing havoc, y'all. So to me, the infusion of the young guys up front on the line was a big reason we got those 5 sacks today. They limited the snap counts of a lot of the older guys. So if any of you go back and watch the game, pay attention to the younger guys, how often they played today, and how active they were in the trenches compared to the older guys. I seen look like one set where they have older guys out there. You had Goldman, you had Grady, you had Amyamata and Judon. Then you bring them out the field and you bring the young guys in. Dorless, Harris, Harrison, Street. I seen 2 different formations. So to me, that made a real big impact. Letting the younger guys get in there and play and get in there and eat and do their thing. So a defense, and I think the Chargers only had like 187 yards of total offense. So I can't come in here and say nothing bad about Jimmy Lake. You know what? I'm gonna give Jimmy Lake his credit, because all season people have been dragging him through the mud. And when the defense finally do play good, you got to give him his credit. Just like you give him his blame, give him his credit too. So I'm gonna I can't blame Jimmy Lake. I can't blame him for us losing. Can't blame Raheem Morris. Raheem Morris can't go out there and throw the ball for Kirk Cousins. You can't throw the ball. Yeah, Zach Robinson caught a few crazy jet sweeps. That's like 2 or 3 plays. You still find a way to get Bijan 100+ yards rushing. You still find a way to get other receivers open in the passing game. And not only did Kirk Cousins have the 4 interceptions, Kirk once again, he missed some key throws. If you hit Darnell Mooney, I think on what was that, the second drive of the game, that's a touchdown. He threw the ball in the dirt. If you throw and the disappointing thing about it is Kirk had plenty of time in the pocket. And I'm going to tell y'all this now. If anybody who's watching this, if you go back and you tell them, hey man, Kirk played like crap, and they try to tell you the offensive line when blocking for them, go ahead and tell them they're full of shit. Tell them they're full of shit. I did the homework for you. Kirk had a clean pocket most of the game. There were some plays Kirk had 6+ seconds to throw the ball and still could not complete a pass or get positive yards. I'm sorry. But in the NFL today, if my offensive line give my quarterback 6+ seconds of protection, I need positive yards. I need you to either A, complete a pass, or B, use your feet and pick up 4, 5, 6 yards. So if anybody try to blame the offensive line, because I'm telling y'all, it's going to be some people out there going to try to blame the line. Just tell them, sir, ma'am, you're full of shit. Just tell them you're full of shit. The line did fine. You got Darnell Mooney wide open for another touchdown, and you throw the ball in the dirt. In fact, Kirk had multiple balls that were thrown in the dirt today. Like, what were you doing? Were you playing putt? Y'all remember that? Y'all old folk remember the game? Putt golf? What were you doing? So how am I gonna blame the coaches for that? Zach Robinson can only call the plays. He can't throw the ball too. How can I come and say that's the coach's fault? The coach didn't have them prepared. Raheem didn't have them prepared. Zach Robinson didn't have them prepared. Jimmy Lake, I can't do it. Our problem was in one position, quarterback. And if somebody want to come on here and blame Kyle Pitts, and because they listen to the announcers say Kyle Pitts quit on the route, fine. I'm cool. We didn't need Kyle Pitts to win today. We didn't need him to be active today. But the quarterback, we needed him to play at least average. We could have won that game today if Kirk was below average. Kirk was absolutely, positively terrible today. Terrible. Like I said about 20 minutes ago, I don't even remember a game where Ridder looked as bad as Kirk did. You ain't gonna win. You really not gonna win games like that in the NFL unless you got like a top 3 defense in the NFL and they could just carry you. And even then, shoot, if the quarterback throwing pick sixes, Kirk don't throw the pick six. They only got 9 points today. So I mean, I can't put I can't point the finger at the coaches on this, y'all. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I got to put this on our quarterback. That's who lost us this game today, the quarterback. So, with that said, that's where the majority of the blame is going to be at for me. Quarterback position. You can't play that bad and expect to win. And you at home too. And I like Kirk Cousins too. Kirk Cousins seems like a real cool cat to me. I really like Kirk Cousins. But I'm not finna keep giving nobody no passes. My motto, players make plays. Players make plays. I don't care what kind of coach you trot out here, you can bring the best of the best. If the players ain't out here doing their job, it's gonna go for naught. I don't care who you bring. You can bring Andy Reid out here. We could have hired Bill Belichick, whoever y'all, Tony Dungy. It don't matter. If your quarterback throwing 4 interceptions and fumbling the ball, no touchdowns, good luck. Good luck. It's gonna be hard to win. It's gonna be hard to win. It don't matter who coaching the team. Now, with me saying I'm not blaming the coaches. Now, if we want to point some fingers at the coaches for today's game, or even the general manager, if we want to point a finger at the general manager, Terry Fontenot, and say, well, Terry Fontenot shouldn't have brought in Kirk Cousins. That was never a good idea. Okay, I'm cool with that. We can talk about that. I'm cool with that. If you want to say the Falcons should have took Kyle Pitts at 4, all right, I'm cool with that. Let's talk. If you want to say the Falcons should have took Drake London at 8, I'm cool with that. That's valid. Today, that's valid. That's valid today. In this game against the Chargers, it's valid. That is valid. If you want to say, well, you could have drafted somebody better that would have been way more effective than Troy Anderson, who ain't did now but really one game of his career for Atlanta. I'm cool with that. Let's go. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. Let's go. If you want to say, well, they should have took Jalen Carter instead of let's go. I'm with it. If you want to say, well, it's still Raheem's fault because he shouldn't have drafted Michael Penix just to only put him on the bench after you done signed Kirk Cousins to $100 million. I'm with that. I'm with that. Let's talk about that. Let's blame Raheem and Terry for that. Yeah, if we want to blame them for having the number eight overall pick on the bench, and not affecting the game today, I'm with that. Let's blame him for that. I'm with that. I'm with that. Anybody want to have that conversation? I'm with you on that. I'm with you. Let's have that conversation. But I'm not finna come on here and blame none of my coaches for the day. I'm gonna blame that quarterback. I'm blaming the quarterback. Cause when Desmond Ridder was here looking like that, all of us would blame him with no problem. With no problem. We would all blame Ridder with no problem. Nobody had a problem blaming Desmond Ridder. None of us. Even when people would try to give us some of what they perceived as logic and say, well, y'all chill out. This is still kind of like his rookie season. We didn't want to hear it. Most of us didn't want to hear it. So if we can sit here and drag Ridder through the mud, I'm not finna give Kirk Cousins no pass and divert blame to other parts of the team who did their job. My defense didn't even give up 200 yards today. My defense didn't even give up a touchdown today. My offensive coordinator got my running back 100 plus yards, 140 all-purpose yards. I seen open wide receivers all day long, and my quarterback couldn't hit them. I seen it. I'm not blaming my offensive coordinator for that. It's not gonna happen. I'm gonna blame the guy who played like shit. It's that simple to me. I'm not gonna divert no blame. I'm not gonna do it. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. I sat there and watched the game twice now. And I'm gonna watch it again when the coach's film come out tomorrow. I'm gonna watch the coach's film. I saw what the problem was today. It was the damn quarterback. That's who all the blame need to be at today, the quarterback. You know, if you want to say, well, young Hoku shouldn't have missed that field goal, okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'll join in. But Ku ain't the reason we lost. Number 18 is the reason we lost. That's the reason we lost. You know, you're not finna win. You may win 1 or 2 games in a calendar season in the NFL with your quarterback playing like Kirk Cousins played today. You know, it's no wonder our defense didn't fold and just say, man, bump it, bro. Bump it. Shit. Bump it. It's no wonder our defense didn't fold, but our defense held tight. You let Lad McConkey, damn good dog, shout out to Lad. He got off on us in the first half, but they shut him down. They didn't get nothing though. They made Justin Herbert look like just another quarterback. And I can't even remember Justin Herbert really getting that off. Let me look at his stats. Justin Herbert threw the ball 23 times and only had 147 yards. No touchdowns. Got sacked 5 times. So you mean to tell me Justin Herbert threw the ball 23 times, only 147 yards? And I'm not going to sit here and say Harbaugh out-coached Raheem Morris, because that would be cap. They didn't do that special. In fact, the Chargers didn't even play good football. It's almost like they were trying to help us win. Like, hey, y'all need this win, Atlanta. We gonna either give y'all opportunities or y'all defense gonna play good enough to create your own opportunities to win the football game. Didn't happen. You know, so going back to realization, man, you know, come to the realization that we just probably ain't as good as we think we are. You know, the odds making Vegas, you know, the experts, you know, in predicting sports probability, where they had us at 9.5 wins. You know, they don't have the same biases that we have. You know, they don't think above average players are really good players. They just look at them as above average players. They don't think below average players or above average players. They just know these are below average players. And they're going to set betting options and betting spreads accordingly. There's no fan bias with them. So I'm blaming Kirk. Kirk getting all my venom. on this post game because he played like shit. Don't get me wrong, bro. Like, I get it. Quarterback's gonna throw interception. I can deal with one interception. I can deal with 2 interceptions. 3 interceptions, you pushing it, bro. You better at least get some touchdowns. 4 interceptions. Oh, bro, what is you doing? David Starr says we actually had 350 plus yards of total offense. The quarterback threw 4 interceptions today. Absolutely, man. And that's another reason, like, bro, I can't blame Zach Robinson for that, man. Like, I can't do it. Like you say, that the offense put up 350 total yards. You know, we averaged 4.5 yards per play. I can't do it. We had 120 rushing yards. We only had 2 penalties as a team today. We only had 2 penalties. You gotta win them games. You know, everything that we had been notoriously bad at so far this year, we were great at today. Everything that we had been notoriously bad at so far this year, we were great at today. You know, two penalties for only 10 yards. But we did have 4 turnovers, and those are all by the quarterback. And they were just terrible turnovers. Terrible turnovers. So I gotta get at the Kirk, man. I can't blame Bijan. You know, and Bijan today, he had like 26 rushing attempts. Let me look at the stats line. I think Bijan ran the ball 26 times today. Let me go back and look at this. Yeah, Bijan ran the ball 26 times. Now I'm gonna be honest. I did not want to see Bijan Robinson had 26 rushing attempts. Because to me, that was a lot of unnecessary wear and tear on him that we did not need to put on his plate. You know, I didn't want to see him carry the ball that much and then still have to catch the ball. So in reality, Bijan Robinson touched the ball over 30 times a day. I didn't want to give him that kind of workload. But I'm gonna tell y'all what happened. I'm gonna tell y'all why Bijan got the ball so much. Because Zach Robinson, he saw, you know, he got a better vantage point to watch the game than all of us did. He's right there watching in the stadium. He saw that his quarterback was in trouble. He saw that his quarterback was struggling bad again. Oh, Kirk struggling again. So he had to borrow some Arthur Smith ideology. When you're quarterbacking Desmond Ridder, who Kirk Cousins was today, Desmond Ridder. When you're quarterbacking Desmond Ridder, and he's throwing turnover after turnover after turnover, what do you have to do? You got to start running the ball. I got to try to win this game, and I got to try to protect my quarterback. So I just got to start running the ball. And you could tell around that third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, that's what Zach was doing. He was like, I just got to run the ball. Kirk ain't got it today. I got to run the ball. Hopefully Bijan can break one and put a dub on the scoreboard. Hopefully Bijan can break a big 40, 50, 60, 70-yard run and get us a touchdown. Because Kirk is seeing ghosts and goblins out here. He ain't got it today. I can't lean on him. I don't trust him today. So I got to lean on my run game. Kirk Cousins, the last 3 games, 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 4 fumbles. Let me get that again. And I want y'all to tell me, how do you expect to win football games like this, y'all? Let me give you that stat line again. Kirk Cousins, and mind you, we are on a 3-game losing streak. Kirk Cousins, the last 3 games, The last 3 games, Kirk Cousins, 0 touchdowns, 0, 6 interceptions, 4 fumbles. How do you expect to win games when your quarterback is playing that terrible in the NFL? If you're in high school and you got a superstar running back, an all-state running back, yeah, you probably can win a bunch of games like that because you just get the ball to the running back and he gonna score 4 or 5 times a game. But that don't work in the NFL. Derrick Henry can't even win you games like that. Saquon Barkley can't even win you games like that. So you know Bijan is not gonna win you games like that. 0 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. I'm not blaming my coaches tonight, y'all. I'm not gonna do it. You know, y'all not gonna trick me into blaming not one coach tonight. It's not gonna happen. I'm not blaming nobody on defense. You know, they made some adjustments on defense. I already told you. You had the young guys up front playing a lot more, and they had that young man swag, the young man energy in them, and it showed. You'll see when you go back and watch the game. You be like, damn, tight end went line. These young bucks was out here playing it up front. I did see more press man coverage. I did see that adjustment. That combined with the defensive line playing a whole lot better because of different rotations. I even seen D'Angelo Malone out there get his thing on. I said, boy, look at Malone out here balling. But quarterback play like that, man. You gotta blame your quarterback. You know, when Matt Ryan was playing bad, nobody had no problem blaming Matt Ryan. Or most people didn't have a problem blaming Matt Ryan. You know, Marcus Mariota, nobody had no problem blaming him or Ridder. The only difference with them is they only was Mariota was only making like $4 or $5 million a year. Ridder was only making like $1 million a year, if that. Kirk Cousins. And you got Tyler, Bijan, Drake, Mooney, Ray, Kyle Pitts. Come on, bro. Come on. Jada said that's a Jerry Gray defense. See, Jada, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna in front. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not finna sit here after Jimmy Lake been crushed all season long. And when the defense come out and they ball out after the bye, and mind you, the defense played good enough to win the New Orleans game also, but Kirk Cousins in the offense, they didn't. But my point is, I'm not gonna apply all that pressure to Jimmy Lake all year. And then when the defense does play a great game, give somebody else the credit. And the reason why, because nobody was giving Jerry Gray the blame when everybody was blaming Jimmy Lake. Nobody gave Jerry Gray no blame. You know, nobody gave him any blame. It was all Jimmy Lake's fault. You know, even though I'm sure beneath the surface, all these coaches work in conjunction somehow. Raheem, Jerry Gray, Jimmy Lake. Jimmy Lake is just not the Dundada of the defense, like the propaganda that people put out there about him. Yeah, he is a rookie defensive coordinator, so quite naturally, a lot of stuff got to go through Raheem. Some stuff got to go through Jerry Gray. But nobody was willing to give Jerry Gray any criticism when it called for it. So I'm not gonna now come back and give him the credit. I'm not doing that. I ain't gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. You know, so when they play good, I won't give the credit to Jimmy Lake. Since he got all the blame, I won't give him all the credit today. I ain't gonna do it. Players make plays. Kirk Cousins made no plays today. Kirk Cousins stole a big old paycheck today. A big old paycheck. Stole a big check. MVG's, what's going on? MVG said, I still believe in Kirk. Hey, I'm not gonna say I've given up on him, but man, he got to get right. And the thing about it, man, we really on the hook with Kirk Cousins, y'all. I know a lot of us was hollering for Michael Penix to come in today, but the contract says that ain't gonna happen no time soon. It's hard to bench a guy with that kind of contract. It's hard to go to the owner and tell him you're gonna put this guy on the bench after you just gave him $100 million guaranteed over 2 years. It's hard to tell Mr. Arthur Blank that and expect to have your job next year. You can go tell him that, but he's probably gonna start plotting to fire you. So it's hard to say that. Brother James in the building. What's going on, James? Been talking about this for weeks. Kirk Cousins been stealing checks for the last 3 weeks. He has, bro. He had no touchdowns the last 3 weeks. Man, it's hard to win in today's NFL if your quarterback ain't putting no points on the board. Man, it's hard to win. This ain't the 1980s. This ain't the 1990s, man. It's hard to win. It's hard to win. So I'm hoping that Kirk goes back to the Kirk Cousins we saw when he was taking over people's traps. Can we get the trap Kirk back? Can we get the Kirk that was on the block, swag, surfing and taking over traps? I don't like suburban Kirk. I want the trap Kirk back. I want the hood Kirk back. Can we get the trap Kirk Cousins back, please? Can somebody put some Gucci Man on his car? Does anybody know his wife, Julie Cousins? Does anybody know her? And we can get some Gucci Man in Kirk Cousins' automobile. Anybody? Some Future, anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Bait Roll Fresh. Can we get any trap music? We need Zone 6 Kirk back. I don't like Sanders Springs Kirk. I don't like Alpharetta Kirk. Larry from the Dixon Way in the building. What's going on, Larry? Y'all make sure to check out Larry here on YouTube at the Dixon Way. Well, actually all over social media. The best in-game commentary that you're gonna find on social media. By the way, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure that you do subscribe and show him a bunch of love. Him and his beautiful wife Shonda. Larry says Kirk deserves the majority of the smoke, but Coach Raheem being defiant about Kirk is beyond criticism. Is BS, and he is now on my it list. The whole stats for losing down seconds sounds really dumb. Now I feel you coming from, Larry, but I understand why Raheem approaches that like he approaches it, because he needs to keep Kirk's confidence high. That's part of being a coach too. You need to keep his confidence high, and you need Kirk to know that I'm not going to get up here and throw you under the bus in the media. That's not going to do anybody any good for me to come up here and throw you under the bus in the media. So I understand where he's coming from dealing with his quarterback. I do understand it, and I do get it. The same thing that he did with Young Way Cool. When he said he would rather have any other kicker in the league, but Cool. That's his kicker. He needs to keep his kicker's mental headspace in a good place, as well as his quarterback. I don't think he wants any dissension in the locker room. They asked Drake London how does he feel about Kirk Cousins after the game today. He's like unwavering loyalty. And I'm sure Drake London was like, man, Kirk, I'm sure in the back of his head, he was, man, Kirk Cousins, like, bro, you got to play better than this, bro. I'm sure the back of his mind, that's what he was thinking. But Drake understands the importance of really not rocking the boat also. He knows he needs to keep, his quarterback's motivation high, So, I mean, I get it. I understand it. I'm a little different. Like for me, I don't have to have like a coach like really go up there and be all, oh boy, I'm gonna cut this guy if he don't do this. I I don't need that from my coach. I really don't. I don't need that from my coach because if y'all hadn't noticed yet about me, man, I expect more out the players. You know, that's who most of my venom be for the players. I need the players to be good. If the players are playing great football, everything gonna fall in place. You know, my philosophy is players make coaches. Coaches don't make players. That's my philosophy. No, trust me when I tell y'all this. Bill Belichick just didn't forget how to coach in 1 or 2 years. He just didn't forget how to coach. He lost his best player. He lost the greatest, with all due respect to Patrick Mahomes, but he lost the greatest and most decorated quarterback of all time. He lost him. He didn't forget how to coach. He just didn't have the same players and personnel that he had in his heyday. He didn't forget how to coach. Arthur Smith didn't forget how to coach. He just didn't have, when he was here, he just had a bunch of bad quarterbacks. You send him to Pittsburgh and let him call the same kind of plays, the same kind of scheme with an able quarterback, they ain't lost. Since Russell Wilson been back, I don't think. Same thing with Dan Quinn. You know? Same with Quinn. Like, look at him in Washington now. Like for me, man, like, I'm not trying to dismiss the importance of great coaching or a great motivator of men, but the utmost importance for me, in my opinion, personally, is players. What are the players doing on the field? You know, you need the players to really drive the ship, you know, on the field, you know. So that's why I stand, man. I don't need my coach like to have to throw players under the bus or have to do something to create a sound bite or go viral. And now the locker room all messed up. You know, now people beefing with each other in the locker room, and coaches don't like the player don't like the coaches. You know, and that could turn into a real mess. So, you know, that's just like my own personal philosophy. Slim Dollar in the building. What's going on, Slim? Says fans want the drama, but when they get it, the season is usually over. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And they still complain about that too. Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly. The locker room is a very delicate place, man. You know, you don't really want to rock that boat. When that boat started rocking, it's hard to get that thing back floating like it should float. You know, and at this point, like, I'm not trying to fight nobody either. You know, I don't think the smartest thing to do is to have a high turnover of a coaching staff. You know, I ain't trying to find nobody right now either. You know, I'm not saying like after week 17, I might feel differently. You know, if they lose the rest of the games, yeah, I'm sure I will feel differently. But as of right now, let's see what happens. We're still in it mathematically. You know, we are technically still in the driver's seat. I'm just not a fan of like going through another coaching staff for consecutive years, man. I'm just not a real fan of that. I'm not a fan of firing Arthur Smith in 2023 and then hiring Raheem Morris in 2024, then firing him in 2024 and have to find somebody else in 2025. I'm not a fan of 3 different coaching staffs in 3 years. To me, though, those situations are real hard to get out. So as long as we still somewhat control our destiny in regards to getting in the playoffs, that's where I'm at this point in time. Now, again, the season end and we done lost the last 5 games. I probably want to come on here and say, man, fire everybody. Fire Freddie Falcons. Get a brand new mascot. Millie Mills is in the building. What's up, Millie? Miller says we got a young quarterback. Y'all, let's groom him and let Kirk play his way out of bad. It's simple, y'all. Kirk is just a damn teacher. Now, for the most part, he's just a highly paid mentor. You said it perfect right there at that point in time. And no matter how bad Kirk was today, and You know what some of us said, you know, while we were upset in our feelings watching the game. In all probability, you know, Michael Penix is not about to play. They're not gonna play him. Kirk Cousins made too much money to sit on the bench. So that's why Raheem Morris, you know, do say encouraging words to his quarterback, because he needs his quarterback. He needs his quarterback. You know, his job relies on his quarterback at this point. So he needs to keep his confidence high, and you know, and just keep his mind state and as positive as he possibly can. Raymond Collins in the building says you got to show etiquette in these situations. Being the leader of a team, you got to keep a standard. Very, very well said. Very, very well said, Raymond. I totally do agree. Larry Satata said get Russ Wilson a field since they was cheap and used the rest of the money to fix all the holes on the roster. Terry went and gave Kirk a bag and drafted a quarterback. This is the thing about that though, Larry. You gotta know that Russell Wilson wants to come here. I honestly don't think Russell Wilson wants to come here. I'm gonna be totally honest. When I step outside of my Falcons fandom, because wherever Russell Wilson went, he was gonna make the same money. The money didn't change. Denver still had to give him a shitload of money, and whoever he signed with, you still gonna be getting about $1.8 million, whoever he went to. So the money wasn't the motivation. With that said, again, taking my Falcons fandom out of this, if I'm Russell Wilson, y'all don't throw tomatoes at me, but y'all know me. I'm here, man. I ain't gonna say no BS. If I'm Russell Wilson, or if I'm Russell Wilson's agent, I'm going to play with Pittsburgh over the Falcons too. I'm just being honest. I'm choosing Pittsburgh over Atlanta. I'm choosing the prestigious franchise with proven results, proven coach on a contending team over the Atlanta Falcons. Notoriously bad, resume as a choke artist, rebuilding team. I'll say it like this, and I'm saying this respectfully, y'all. You know, I love the Falcons, but I'm gonna be honest. If I'm a high school quarterback and I'm being recruited by Alabama or Vanderbilt, I'm going to Alabama. Pittsburgh, Atlanta. As far as Justin Fields go, now that is an argument that can be had at this point. That's a fair argument to have, because I'm quite sure if they really truly like pursue him aggressively, you probably could have got a deal done. I don't really think that they were real enamored with Justin Fields. I don't think they thought Fields was an ideal fit on the kind of offense that they wanted to run. To me, Fields was in a perfect situation with Arthur Smith's playbook and his style. Unfortunately for him, you know, he's on the bench. They do have some plays and some sets for him, but he's backing up Russell Wilson. But if Arthur Smith would have never got fired, I think Justin Fields would have been a perfect fit for the Falcons at that point in time. But I really don't think Zach Robinson and Raheem Morris, I don't think that they like his style of play. To be blunt. And that's Larry, that is definitely a valid perspective, because now where we're sitting at now with our quarterback on another terrible performance, we can now ask ourselves, well, could we be doing a little bit better now if we traded for Fields and maybe spent the money elsewhere to try to build up the defense more than we've done now? And that's a valid perspective, man. You know, we'll probably have to dive deep into that. John Kent, what's up, John? Says Kirk is an old man and he can't do it anymore. We made a mistake by signing him. Michael Penix will turn out to be a good pick. I hope so. I definitely hope so. As long as we still have a playoff chance, I don't think we'll be seeing Michael Penix barring any injuries. I knock on wood. But like if Kirk don't get back going again, and I was saying this in our Facebook group, man, and I swear people be on my head about some of my takes. But I was telling them, like, look, there ain't no guarantee that Kirk Cousins is gonna be the starter throughout the entire year next year, y'all. It's very plausible that he could possibly be traded. But after today's performance, he didn't really hurt our trade stock for him. But unless Kirk really starts playing well, man, next year you will see a lot of Michael Penix, because that's going to be the final year, essentially, of Kirk's guaranteed money. So the Michael Penix era, he could be the starter before the end of next season. I don't see it this year unless Kirk gets hurt, or unless we just fall totally off the map. Totally off the map. Jay Leonard said, if he's a good fit for Arthur Smith offense, then why didn't they just draft Fields when Arthur Smith was the coach? That's another good question, another good perspective. I don't think Terry Fontenot, and I'll include Arthur Smith on this also, because Arthur Smith don't call the shots in Pittsburgh. Mike Tomlin do. I don't think they were really fond of Justin Fields. I really don't. And I'm gonna be honest also. I was one of Justin Fields' biggest cheerleaders when he was leaving college, coming to the NFL. I desperately wanted the Falcons to draft him, and I mean desperately. You know, I could have been on Justin Fields' street team as much as I was campaigning for him. But if we had to drafted him, I think we still be in a predicament right now of needing a real franchise quarterback, because I don't think Fields is a true franchise quarterback in a sense of the word of being reliable quarterback for a modern day NFL offense. You know, where you need to balance out the passing and the running. I think we still be in that same type of predicament. Hindsight is 2020, but the right pick for us at the time, now that we see how things have played out, would have been Penei Sewell, who plays offensive tackle for the Detroit Lions. That's who we should have drafted, Penei Sewell. You could make a case for Jamar Chase, but I think Chase would have ran into the same thing that Kyle Pitts eventually did. You'd have had 2 dry years without anybody to throw you the ball. Whereas an offensive tackle, that's a position where you can be a perennial all-pro for like the next 15 years. So in hindsight, Penei Sewell, that's the guy that we really should have went and got in the draft. I know some people will say Micah Parsons too, but to be honest, Micah Parsons wasn't touted to be a top 5 pick. I think he wasn't drafted until outside the top 10 at number 11, if memory serves me correctly. But that's all I got, man. It's getting late. It's almost 12:30, man. I've kind of said all I want to say mostly about the game. So I'm gonna go ahead and get ready to check out. I want to thank everybody in the chat for rocking with me, man. I know I'll be coming on super late. And I appreciate all y'all time, man. I really appreciate the interaction. Appreciate y'all being my therapist dealing with these Falcons. But we will be back tomorrow. We're gonna do the player grades tomorrow. We're gonna watch the film tomorrow also too, y'all. So y'all come back and rock with me tomorrow. It'll probably be around about 4 to 4:30. I'll come on before Uncle Steve comes on for the Monday Minutia. He'll be on at 6:30 tomorrow. Until then, man, y'all have a blessed one, man, and have a fantastic week also. Peace out.